Bob, thank you very much. Honored to be here, and congratulations to you and the family members that I guess now getting into the third generation of the McDowells, and I would imagine Mr. Dewey and his son would be pretty impressed with what goes on in this yard every day, and the amount of impact that you all have on not just the local economy, but the Texas economy. And you and your brother know how to compete in a pretty tough market. You look around here, and although this company hadn't been around forever, it's been around for a pretty good spell. And at its heart, it's a small business. It's run like a small business. And back in 1895, as you were sharing with us, Mr. Dewey saw the opportunity for a new market. That oil field out in East Texas was starting to be developed, and he jumped in with his 2 feet and a lot of 4-footed partners, and with those Clydesdales and the mules that they used. And so one thing that Mr. Dewey understood, and that the McDowells understand, is that starting a small business is not for the faint of heart. But our state has been blessed with generations of entrepreneurs, just like this family, who are willing to take the risk, do the work, and turn those dreams that they have into reality. And I'm here today to celebrate along with them the small businesses in our state, and as we observe this Small Business Week, and recognize the contributions that those small companies have made in our state's relative economic success. You know, the economic future of our state is being scripted in conversations and coffee shops and college dorm rooms, kitchen tables and living rooms all across this state, as entrepreneurs take that leap to go into small business and become small business owners. Those small businesses offer the freedom to chart one's own success, and they are the embodiment of the spirit. They are truly reflective of that great spirit in our state that have created jobs and investment and prosperity in this state for decades. And that's the reason we work so hard in Austin, to make sure that we nurture the environment so that small businesses can succeed. That's why our economy has outshone so many other states as we've gone through this recent recession. Small Business Administration tells us nearly half of private sector employees in Texas come from small businesses. From 1989 to 2008, small businesses created 93.5% of all the new jobs in America. That's the equivalent of about 4,000 jobs a day during that time period. And as you think of the job sector, and it would cover it. It is a very substantial and varied job sector that small businesses are involved with. So as we reflect on the contribution that small businesses make to Texas, it's very appropriate that we consider how Texas has helped them succeed. In my view, it all starts with low taxes from top to bottom, and that's something that's not new to Texas. As a matter of fact, it's kind of a Texas tradition to keep our taxes low. And it was certainly affirmed this last session of the legislature as Senator Patrick and his colleagues cut taxes for 40,000 additional small businesses in the state of Texas. Just last month, the Small Business and Entrepreneurial Council ranked Texas first among the big states, second overall among states with the lowest tax burden on small businesses. And that's from their study of all taxes, from capital gains to unemployment taxes to state gasoline taxes. And I think, you got to look at the whole picture to get a true reflection of what the bottom line is for your small businesses. And our low taxes combined with our predictable regulatory climate and our fair legal system, that's what has made Texas so competitive, and why we're continuing to create jobs even during this pretty tough economic environment that we're living in. So as these employers in Texas compete, and employers all across this country compete, more and more states are catching on to our approach, and they're doing what they can to come lure businesses away from the state of Texas. But that competition's good. We don't mind the competition. That's why we go the extra mile with programs like our Emerging Technology Fund, and that accelerates our startup companies that are innovating ideas and getting them from the embryonic stage to market viability. Since its founding, the Emerging Technology Fund has invested more than $132 million into 104 early-stage startup companies, turning Texas ideas into products and companies and investment and creating jobs along the way. Then the Texas Enterprise Fund, another great example of how we stay competitive out there, and it's turned our economic development toolkit, if you will, into a very successful box to carry around. It's helped and keep Texas growing. We've used this fund to secure job creation projects in the state and create a real ripple effect with Texas businesses that supply, for instance, a manufacturing concern comes in that we've lured in with the Enterprise Fund, and then you have the suppliers that are concentric circles outside of that tenant company, if you will, that add jobs as well. So since 2003, the Enterprise Fund has drawn nearly $14.3 billion worth of capital investment to the state of Texas. This very fertile economic environment that we live in is what visionaries really need to pursue a dream. I mean, you can have the greatest dreams in the world, but if you don't have the appropriate environment of which to implement it, it's not going to be successful. Thankfully, Texas has for a long time had a very abundant supply of visionaries. From wildcatters who were tapping the oil fields out in southeast Texas when this company was founded, to wind farmers that are now populating the western side of this state, to scientists in our university laboratories all across the state. They're all chasing the next big idea. And throughout our state's history, visionaries have pursued their ideas. They've been liberated by the power of their determination, and they've been energized by that pioneer spirit that has defined Texas since, I guess, the first settlers ever came across the prairies to land here. I still have a pretty simple challenge for small business owners, workers all across this state. Keep doing what you're doing. We are a great reflection of what works. Other states look to Texas. When I go to different events and people ask me, how y'all doing? How y'all managing to create jobs? In the last 6 months, Texas has had a positive job growth. And over the decade, more jobs created in Texas than any other state. And I tell them, I said, it's allowing those small businessmen and women to be free to do what they do best, and that is to create jobs, which in turn create wealth. And so I encourage my fellow Texans to seek those small business owners out, to patronize them when they can, and help them pursue their dreams and shape the future of our state.